Okay, hello. Let's talk about knife crime yet again. It's still on the rise from what I hear. People are still being stabbed, and of course, knives are one of the go-to weapons for terrorists. And as usual, the government just wants to ban knives. And comments from the public on knives is just to ban them, which is absolutely ridiculous. Banning knives will not stop knife crime. There's quite a selection of knives right here, everything from Swiss Army knives to kitchen knives to military knives. And once again, I'd like to point out that knives like these are not the most commonly used in crime, nor is knives like these, or like these, or even like these, is these, and these. These are the most commonly kind of knife used in knife crime. And it's not really difficult to see that. Any time a police force or whatever is having a knife amnesty, whenever the media reports on these amnesties, all you have to do is look at the images they present on their websites or social media accounts, and you'll see a massive pile of knives. And there are a few crazy looking fantasy knives. There are maybe a handful of knives like this, and really cheap knockoff Swiss Army knives. But the vast majority of those knives in those pictures of the knife amnesty is kitchen knives and Stanley knives, or just general purpose utility knives like these. I would say 80% of the knives in those images are knives like these, and a small fraction are knives like these and fantasy knives and pocket knives, but most of them are just common household knives. Now, yeah, knife crime is a bit of a problem in the UK, especially in big cities like London, Birmingham, Glasgow. And yeah, it is a growing problem, especially in London. Over Christmas, actually, 4 people were stabbed to death in London. I actually have that right here, just to show you there. So knife crime is a growing problem. But what bothers me is that people's attitude is the knife that's the problem. Well, look at all the knives I have. Who's been stabbed? I haven't stabbed anyone. These knives haven't stabbed anyone. I mean, this is a fighting knife. Just sits in the cabinet. It's never going to hurt anyone. None of these knives are ever going to harm anyone because they're in my possession, and I don't intend on hurting anyone. Now, for some reason, knives like these are often shown in anti-knife campaigns, like Knives End Lives or Knives Take Lives or whatever. These campaigns honestly quite annoy me. And why are they attacking this style of knife? Exactly. What I mean, this isn't a fighting knife. I mean, this is a pocket knife. This is a camping knife. This is a fishing knife. This is a hunting knife. Now, by the way, when we use that term hunting knife, that doesn't mean we're walking around the woods with a knife like this or like this in our hand waiting to stab a deer. No, they're for skinning the animal, to remove the fur or the leather or whatever, or the scales, and to gut the animal once it's already been shot and killed. You don't use these knives to kill animals, so I like to get that out there. But that's what that kind of knife is. And by the way, these aren't exactly cheap either. A knife like this, a buck, what model is this? A buck 112, these cost about £55. What thug has £55 to spend to stab someone? Knives like these, you can get a set of these out of Asda for £10, set of 5. this will do a much better job. Hell, you can get knives this size out of the pound shop, and it's not very hard to steal out of the pound shop. Not that I've ever done that, but really, if you're a thug and you were going to stab someone, what are you going to do? Are you going to spend £50 on something like this, or £100 on something like this to use it once to stab someone to then dispose of it? Or are you going to go to the pound shop to steal something like this? Or are you simply just going to go into the kitchen drawer, which is obviously where I got these from, and stick up your sleeve? And again, I'm going to have to talk about the ban on online knife sales, because it's looking very likely that's going to go through. Banning the purchase of any knife online. Yeah, that's not going to do anything. That's just going to affect collectors and responsible users like me, and that's just going to make my life difficult. Criminals are still going to use knives like these to stab people. Bearing in mind that there are also a lot of shootings in the UK where firearms are extremely difficult to get, and most of these shootings are done with I believe automatic rifles, sawn-off shotguns and handguns. Well, handguns and automatic rifles have been banned for a very long time. Handguns have been banned for 20 years, and I don't know if automatic firearms were ever legal actually in the UK. And just, I think it was a week or so ago, there was a couple of teenagers shot outside a chip shop. I can't remember if it was London or Birmingham, but they were both shot and wounded. How did that happen in a country where we have pretty much no public access to firearms? And it is very, very, very difficult to get a firearms certificate. I'm not going to go into that right now. But again, as I've previously said, the UK does have some of the toughest knife laws in the world. And I'm going to continue saying that, because this is a point that really we need to put across. How far are we willing to go to sacrifice everyone's freedom to own personal property? Now, you may not be an individual who owns knives, you may not like knives, you may hate knives, but please try to understand that knives are people's property, and knives are not cheap to buy. I mean, some of them are. You can get some cheap knives. I mean, these cost less than £10, which is great, because that means people with less money can buy them and get into the hobby of collecting knives and using knives for what they're meant to be used for, which is as a cutting tool. It's not a weapon. I mean, of course, some people like to collect military knives like this. You could make a collection of knives like these, which many people do, and I do myself, but there's nothing wrong with that, so long as you're not using these knives to harm anyone, which the majority of people don't use them to harm people. And just because this is a fighting knife doesn't mean you can't do other things with them. You could use these for camping, as many people do. You can use these for bushcraft. You can use this as a work knife. There's nothing wrong with that. This is a good, strong, sturdy, well-made knife. These are also strong, sturdy, well-made knives, and these are not intended for stabbing. And many people carry a pocket knife every single day in the UK, like these ones. These are all legal to carry. Or something like these. Personally, I like to carry these ones a lot. I've never stabbed anyone. This is just one of those things that really gets on my nerves. When people say if you use a knife you're going to use it, that's completely false. I've carried a knife for over 5 years, just about. And I have never once felt the need to stab someone. Including this is illegal to carry. I do carry it, and I don't feel the need to stab anyone. It's not people like me that's contributing to knife crime, so punishing people like me for knife crime is not the answer. It is very unfair. And as you can see, I've put a lot of money into the hobby. And by stopping individuals like myself from continuing this hobby, you're still not going to make an effect on the real people who are committing knife crime. Well, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for watching.